Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to requery a continuous form in place without the focus moving. Today's question comes from Damaris in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, one of my platinum members. Damaris says, I have a continuous form much like your customer list form. However, because I have some aggregate functions in there, it's not updatable. I can make it so I can double click to open up a single form where I can edit records individually, but when I return back to the continuous form, the data doesn't update. And if I issue a requery command, it puts me back at the top of the list. Is there any way to refresh that form and update the data without the focus moving? Okay, there's a lot to unpack in this, so I'm going to take it from the top and explain everything that Damaris is talking about. And when we're done, you're going to see there's a really cool solution to it. To start off with, yes, this is a developer level video. Even though the solution really only involves one line of code, you've kind of got to know everything else that Damaris is talking about to get to that point. So, first, if you've never done any VBA programming before, go watch this. It's free. It's on my YouTube channel. It's about 20 minutes long. It teaches you all the basics. Next, you'll need to know what an aggregate query is. That's where we can sum things up by groups. All right, so go watch this video. And an aggregate query will do this to your forms. If you base a form on a query that has aggregate functions in it, like sum, it will make your record set not updatable. So you can't change any of the values or add new values because of the calculations. This video will explain that in more detail and why Damaris can't modify the records right in this form. Okay, so here I am in my Tech Help free template. This is a free database. You can download a copy off my website if you want to. And here I've got a customer list that is just based on the customer table. All right, so if you go to the properties here, go to data, you'll see it's just customer T. So it's nice and simple. Okay, I can edit records right in place here if I want to. Okay, or if I open up this record by double clicking on the ID and change something here, when I close this and come back, it's updated for me because again, it's got a simple table as the underlying record source. However, if this form is based on a complicated query that might have some functions in it, like aggregate functions, you lose the ability to update this data. Let's say I want to add the customer's total value on here, the total of all of their orders in the past. We can do that with a simple aggregate query. All right, so go to Query Design. We'll bring in the customer table. I'll bring in the ID, first name, last name. And then we want to bring in their order total. So for that, we're going to need their order T, which will link to their order table. Okay, so we'll bring that in. That creates the link there. Then we're going to bring in their order detail query because the query has the extended price in here. The sum of the extended price gives us their order totals. Okay, if you haven't watched my invoicing video where I build the order entry system, go watch that too. I'll put a link to that down below as well. That explains the order table and the order detail query in more detail. Get it? The order detail query in more detail. I'm kidding. Okay. So now I can bring in the extended price, which is the quantity times the unit price for each item, right? Adds it up, simple math. We can make this an aggregate query. Change the group by here to sum. And now when I run this, I get my customers and the sum of extended price over here is the sum for all of their orders. Okay? In fact, let's change sum of extended price. Let's call it order total with a little alias here. Order total. And you can see there's that screen bug popping up. There's a bug in Access right now where if you go to run a query and then go back to design view, the font's all messed up down here. It's not you, it's not me. It's an Access issue. They know about it. The Access Forever guys posted about it. Okay, so there's your total. All right, notice you're missing some customers too. So you might want to make these outer joins, double click on the joins, right? Include all records from customer T. And then this one too, include all records from order T. And now when you run it, you'll see everybody in there. Okay, you'll get some blanks in there too. For that, we can change this to NZ, null 0. So if it's null, it'll show up as a 0. Okay? And I don't usually do my formatting in my queries. I'll save that for the form. But anyways, we got all the customers now. We got all their order totals. That's good. But notice this record set is now no longer updatable. I can't add a new record. I can't click in here and change anything. Okay, this is what Damaris is dealing with in his form. So let's save this query. I'm going to save this as my customer order value queue. Okay, and we're going to base our list form on this guy. So let's close this up. Let's go back to our customer list. We're going to change where this guy gets his data from. All right, open that up and change this to the query that we just made, customer order value queue. Now, right away, you can see that there's some fields that are missing because I didn't bring state or customer sense. And let's say we don't need those. All right, and this credit limit is now going to have that value in it. So we're going to say order total. All right, we'll double click on this guy. We'll go into the control source, we'll change that to the order total, and don't forget to change the name as well. Okay, there's our format as currency, so everything will look nice and pretty. All right, save it, close it, open it back up again, and there we go. There's our form. Got all of our customers and their order totals, but again, notice you can't update this stuff. You can't click in here and change anything. It's now a non-updatable record set. In fact, what I usually do at this point is I like to make things that the user can't update gray. So I'm just going to give these guys a nice little shade of gray. Right there. That just kind of visually tells the user, you're not crazy, you can't update this stuff. Okay? All right, now here's the thing. Let's say I want to change something about Richard Ross. I want to change his name to Rick. I can't click in here and make a change. But, like Damaris says, you can double click here to open up the customer form and make the change here. Okay, change it, close it, but it doesn't update this form unless you close it, reopen it, which requeries the data in the form. All right, now refresh won't work. Refresh just redoes the calculations. You have to requery the actual data set under the form itself. Now, where could you do that requery command? Well, you could put a button on here to requery it manually. That's always an option, and I'll show you how to do it real quick. It's simple. All right, I'll grab a button. Drop it down here, cancel the wizard. Yeah, you can do it with the thing in the wizard, but no, I like my own requery. Requery, open it up. All right, let's call this requery button, BTN. Right click, build event. What's going in here? It's just Me.Requery. That's it. All right, close it, open it, and now if I make a change, close it, now I can hit requery, and it requeries for me, and there we go. The problem is if you're down here and you edited, let's say, Getty Lee, and you hit requery, it pops you back up to the top of the list. Okay? But there's a trick, and here's the one line of code that I told you that you needed before. Okay? Instead of doing a Me.Requery, do this. Me.Recordset.Requery. What that will do is it will requery the data in the form without changing the form itself, including where the focus is, what record you're sitting on. So if I come up here, save it, close it, open it. Okay. If I come in here, all right, and yeah, this just happens to be right over the spot where that command button is. I'm going to move this over here, or the control box here. So let's do that again. See, now it's not an issue. All right, if I come back in here and put this back to Richard, and close it, and I hit requery. All right, it requeried nicely. Now, if I come down here, and let's do Getty Lee. All right, let's change this to, I don't know, Gary, which is his real name. And then we'll requery it. Look at that. It requeried right in place without changing where the record's sitting. Right? If I come in here for Christopher Pike, double click. If I just change this to Chris, close it, and then requery it. Look at that. See that? Didn't move. Okay, Me.Recordset.Requery. Now, you might not want the customer, the user, to have to click a requery button. Can this happen automatically? Yes. There's two places where you could trigger that. You could trigger it in the close event of this form, assuming that the only way they get to this form is through this guy. Then you can just, in the close event, I'd make this one modal so they can't click behind it, right? And then you could put it in the on-close event for here. Or another way you could do it is in the on-got focus event for this field right here. because they have to double click on this to get there. All right, so when this guy gets the focus back after this form closes, it'll requery itself. I wouldn't do that if you've got like tens of thousands of records in this form, because it will slow things down. But if you've got, a couple hundred, couple thousand records even, and you got a fast connection, you could do it in the onGotFocus event. All right, onGotFocus was yesterday's video. Go watch this. So again, I'll design view. I'll come to this guy, event, onGotFocus is right here. And we'll just put that command in there, Me.Recordset.Requery. Save it, close it, close it, close it, open it. All right. Now, notice as you click around, it's running that Me.Requery in the background, but I only have 29 records, so it's pretty fast. If you got 20,000 records in here, it might slow down a little bit, so you might want to consider using the other option. Or you could if you only want to edit a couple things on this form, like first name, last name, and a few other fields, make a custom form. Here, let's do it real quick. Well, let me show you that this thing works first before I get off on another tangent. All right, let's go William Riker, double click. I'll change William to Bill. Now, as soon as I close this form, boom, it updates. See that? Because this guy got the focus back. Okay? But if you got lots and lots of records and you don't want to use an onGotFocus event, you could make a special editing form just for this guy if you don't want to open up the full customer form, right? Let's take the customer form here. I'll copy and paste it. We'll call this customer edit form or whatever you want to call it, right? All right. Right click, design view. And let's say you only want to be able to edit certain things in here. So delete that stuff, delete that stuff, delete that. Right? You're only interested in first name and last name, let's say. Right? Give it a little color. Something like that. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make this form modal. Okay? I hate pop-up because pop-up has problems on multi-monitor screen or multi-monitor systems. I got 2 monitors now. I just downgraded from 4 monitors to 2, but I got a big one. So it's nice. But still, pop-up will put that window randomly. I don't like pop-up. But modal basically says you can't click on anybody behind me until you close me. That's what modal means. Save changes. Yes? Here's my video on modal versus pop-up, by the way, if you want to watch that. All right, now what we'll do is we'll change this guy. So when we double-click on this, on double-click, all right, instead of open customer, which is this up here, we could just change it here. Yeah, we could change this to the customer edit F, right? Now it's going to open customer edit F. This just checks for the ID being blank. Okay, and we can get rid of that GotFocus event, which is slowing down our form if you got thousands and thousands of records, right? Save it, close it, open it. Now, when you open up this, it brings up that little guy. And yeah, that's a thing. Modal forms will hide the navigation pane like that. It just snaps it shut. That's just how they behave. I don't know why they did that. But your end users should never see that because your end users will never have access to that navigation pane. You'll hide it, right? If you don't know how to hide it, go watch my simple security video. I'll show you how to do things like that to make your database a little more secure. All right, but now if you open up Jean-Luc Picard, boom, you get this. You can't click behind it until you change this, right? And yeah, you can hide this and this and this and all that stuff. But, right, if I come in here and call him Johnny, or whatever, I don't know. Johnny, there you go. Like Q calls him from time to time. Okay. Now, it didn't update. We got to put that code in the close event for this form. So right click, design view, come into here, go to events, go to either on close or on unload, doesn't matter, either one. All right, right here, when this guy closes, you're going to say forms customer list f dot record set dot requery. Okay, it's the same thing as if you said me on the other form. Forms customer list f is saying go find that form and then do the record set dot requery for that form, which of course has to be open because it's the only way you can get to this guy. That's why I say we make a custom edit form. All right, now if I open this up and put Johnny in there with an IE and close it, look at that, it does the same thing. And if you're down here, right, if you go to Mr. Data, double click, right, We'll call him Mr. like that. Close it. Boom. Updates right there. Oop, data's beaming in fact, right now. Where's it? Come on. There he goes. Whenever I do a video like this, I always give it a quick Google before I start to do a little research and see what everyone else has to say about this topic. And of course, Mike over at No Longer Set covered this a couple of years ago, Requery a form in place. And he goes into a lot more detail on some of the other methods like Form.Refresh, Form.Bookmark from Daniel Pinot. He's got a big monster long thing of code in here, so check that out if you want to. But yeah, and he goes, the real solution is, that's it. And in fact, way at the top, he says, TLDR, use Form.Recordset.Requery. That's it. But I wanted to also, like Mike did, I also wanted to give you the background as to why this happens and when you get in this situation. The form where you can't update the data happens a lot. I get asked that all the time. And that's why I made the other video on non-updatable record sets, because if you put any kind of calculations in there, you aggregate it. Some calculations you can still get away with. Like if you put a DLOOKUP or a DSUM in your query, chances are you will probably still be able to update the other fields. Of course, not the DLOOKUP field. But also sometimes if you have really complex queries, I've seen people try to bring 16 tables together in a query and then wonder why they can't update it. That's why it's too complicated. Break it down, make it simpler. Right? Take your form, and then if you want to update any of that stuff, make a double-click event where you can open up another form. I'll put a link to my open form video down below. I'll also put a link to Mike's article if you want to go read that. He's got a lot of great stuff on his website too. If you want to learn more about this topic, in the extended cut for the members, I'm going to teach you a trick where you can still actually edit those records in place, even though that is a non-updatable record set. How do you do it, you might ask? Well, that's going to be covered in the extended cut for the members. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos. Gold members can download all of these databases and get access to the code vault. And if you're really interested in learning more about developing applications with Microsoft Access, be sure to check out my developer series of courses. They teach you everything you need to know from beginner all the way up through advanced level developer programming, starting with an introduction to VBA and going all the way up to record sets and all that advanced stuff. So check it out on my website. You'll find links down below. Check out the extended cut if you're interested in this. And that, my friends, will be your tech help video for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. How do you become a member? Click on the Join button below the video. After you click the Join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get one free expert class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and one free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for Access, too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout-out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this tech help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.